Hello everyone, it's I, Wacky Anime What If here to present you with What If Issei got Carnage and was betrayed, Chapter 1, The Deception. The What If starts with Issei's point of view. Issei is in his Kyo Academy uniform, heading to the ORC room, although he seems depressed as he thinks about how the ORC have been treating him lately. Since last week specifically, when he beat Riser Phoenix and saved Rias from her arranged marriage, he expected them to have treated him better or maybe have gotten closer to him. And maybe him and Rias, you know, hanging out more often, but instead, he began to notice during the week that the ORC had become more cold and distant to him. It made him feel like he did something wrong. I don't know if he did, but he must have. I mean, the reactions that they gave him, there must be something that warranted it. Issei remembers last week as he tried to spar with Koneko like usual, that she took it way too far and punched him with too much force in the chest, cracking his ribs. She didn't even stop punching him until after 5 hours, even breaking my legs to where I couldn't run away. I tried to run away because I didn't want to harm her. I still saw her as a friend. I just don't know why she was so angry at me. She seems enraged about something I did, but I don't remember doing a damn thing. Then there was the fact Asia was very reluctant to heal me, and when I tried to talk to her to see what was going on, she ran away from me, calling me a pervert, even though I did nothing to her. Then I remember the illusions that Akeno put me under, trying to hide my left arm that I gave up during the raiding game. She didn't even hide it properly. She just zapped me with electricity and told me to get out. She even enjoyed doing it. She was laughing the entire time. I even have burn scars on my torso. Whenever I look into the mirror seeing them, I feel disgusted at myself. And then there's the fact that Kiba, whenever I tried to talk to him, he slices at me as if I'm an enemy. Then Rias keeps on ignoring me, just not even showing me the light of day. It's like I don't even exist to her. It's as if I lost all my uses. Maybe if I go to the ORC room and try to talk to them all, I can sort things out and maybe fix the bond that we used to have. Little did he know, today would be the day that bond would be broken forever, never to be repaired again. As Issei is done with his thoughts, he sees he has instinctively walked all the way to the outside of the ORC room. As Issei is about to open the door, it slowly opens by itself. As Issei thinks, not creepy at all, he starts to head towards the door as he sees Rias at her ORC desk, with Akeno behind her, placing down a cup of tea on the desk. Asia was on Rias's left side and Koneko was on her right side. Issei feels something off as he was about to take a step into the room, but he calmed himself down by thinking they may have been mean to me for the past 2 weeks, but they're still my friends. No, they're more like my family, so there's no need to be nervous. As Issei thought this, he took one step into the room, and as he did, to greet his friends, all of a sudden, Issei hears footsteps approaching behind him rapidly from the corner of the room. But before he could turn around to react, he feels a sharp pain in his chest as he looks down. He sees a blade sticking through his chest. He sees his blood all over the blade, slowly dripping off of it, landing on the floor, staining it. Issei stares at the blade for a moment in shock, before the pain registers, and Issei screams in anguish. As he turns his head back slightly behind him, he sees Kiba's cold eyes staring into his, as he looks at him with a face of betrayal. as he sees Kiba holding the very blade that pierced his chest. He feels his healing factor heal around the blade slowly, but not enough to save him, just enough to delay the inevitable. As Issei looks deeper into Kiba's eyes with his eyes of betrayal, staring into him with all of his emotions blaring on full blast. The betrayal that Issei felt was immense, and the hatred even more so, as the depression all at once slammed into his very soul like a train with no destination. Issei screams, "I thought we were friends. No, I thought we were more than that. We were like family. So why would you do such a thing?" Issei hears Rias, Akeno, and Koneko laughing at the question. Even hearing Kiba behind him chuckle as Issei balls his left fist up with anger, but unable to move, as he felt his body shut down slowly. Right when he was pierced in the chest, this started to happen, but he was just keeping his mind off of it, as he just glares at Rias, his eyes showing pain and heartbreak. Rias, seeing this, just laughs, saying, "You fell in love with me. I know my acting was good, but I didn't figure it would be that good. All I had to do was cry and pretend to show some interest in you, and you rolled over backwards for me. It's almost sad to have to put you down like the dog you are, but I unfortunately could never tolerate dogs. I could just never tolerate the stench that comes with them." As Issei hears this, he feels Kiba rip his blade out of his chest, and rip his evil pieces out as well, all in one swift movement, as Issei collapsed to the ground, bleeding out, feeling immense pain, as if his very soul was splitting into pieces, as his evil pieces were removed. He slowly turns back to human. As the changes were more into his body, it was not visibly noticeable, but he could feel his life fading, as the only thing keeping him alive was his anger. As Issei hears them all laughing at him, except Kiba, who Issei, with his very blurry vision, sees in the corner of his eye is wiping off his blood off of his blade. As Issei feels his blood boiling with rage, he is unable to express it as his body lost all feeling and he is fading fast. But he manages to hear Rias say, "Also, just to let you know, I also allowed Rainier to kill you, just so I could use you as I see fit." Just knowing that must make you feel so much anger, doesn't it? Too bad you'll never get your revenge. She just merely smiles at Issei, then orders Koneko to rip off Issei's left hand. And as Koneko hears this, she starts to walk towards Issei with an innocent smile on her face. Issei sees this innocent smile and feels a shiver down his spine as she grabs his left arm and tears at it, ripping it off in one go, causing Issei to scream in pain as he bleeds out even more rapidly, his eyes finally starting to black out. And as it goes dark and his body goes cold and unresponsive, Rias merely looks at Issei's corpse and says to Koneko, "Well done. Now hand me the boosted gear." As Koneko hands Rias the boosted gear, aka Issei's left hand, Rias tries to use it for herself, but notices the Drake won't allow her to, after what she did to her partner. So Rias merely asks Koneko to put it in a container for later, so she can use her power of destruction to torture D-Drake into submission and have the boosted gear for herself. D-Drake merely says, "Good luck with that, bitch!" As Rias hears this, her face turns red with anger, until she hears Kiba ask what he should do with Issei's corpse. Rias just glances at the corpse once, but with a more composed face, and casually, with no remorse in her eyes, or no remorse in her voice either, just says, "Throw it in the junkyard for all I care." Rias sees Kiba drag Issei's corpse away to dispose of it. As he does, Rias looks into a file full of potential Parage members to replace that mutt Issei with. Rias sees one file in particular that catches her eyes. She pulls it out and looks at it and says, "Perfect. Location change. Kyotown scrapyard." We see Kiba toss Issei's body into a pile of scrap metal and walk away as it starts to rain and the sky darkens. We see a red goo-like substance crawling towards Issei. As it touches his skin, it goes into his body and melds inside until it's unseen. The red goo starts repairing Issei's heart and left arm. As the corpse was only dead for a few moments, it was much easier than the red goo had thought. But he notices that he overdid it and accidentally brought back the previous owner of the body. He just meant to hijack it for a joyride, but it seems he revived the previous pilots. As the red goo is now curious about how he'll react, he decides to stay low for a little while. As Issei springs up from the pile of scrap in the scrapyard, rain dropping on his face, rolling down, as he screams to the heavens themselves, "I'll fucking kill you! How dare you betray me!" Unknown to Issei, the right side of his face had a red goo wrap around it, revealing a grinning Carnage, as the left side shows a furious and enraged Issei. The what if ends at this. I hope you all enjoyed this, and if you did, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to get notified of any future chapters of this series. I hope you all enjoyed, and goodbye, everyone.